Welcome back to the GSTL preseason on Heart of the Swarm. We are currently in the situation where Axiom Acer is down a set. They're bringing out another one of their, players with more results, more notable players. They're bringing out Heart.
Yeah, I really like it. I love this whole tournament so much because it gives us so much chance to talk about Heart of the Swarm, to talk about a little bit about the balance, about the issues that each race is facing now. And this is all a beta, so all this talk is of course very much in the flow as things could change within one day. And of course, since those patches haven't been out for a long time, there are a lot of things that could be figured out to deal with the problems that each race is facing at this point in time. It's actually just pretty cool to have these opportunities to see pro players on this level deal with Heart of the Swarm as it is, see Blizzard react to problems that they identify in the game. Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's basically a period of constant change, and I think that people like to have that. There's always a good thing to be had with stability, and that's what we had in Wings of Liberty. But now we're going into a new era, and things are going to be shaky for the first few weeks, few months, really.
Yeah. I want to see what Heart is doing. I'm really excited about this, as I mentioned earlier when the decision was made that he would be the next player in the booth. With the options that he has, I mean, what could he do? Reapers are really strong in the early game. A lot of Zerg players say that they are struggling with it. If we actually see Reapers, we'll go into this a little bit deeper. Katz made a great analysis on State of the Game, and he was talking about the problems that he has with this. Yep. Then we have options with the Widow Mine that he could go for. Not really likely if he wants to be very aggressive, then we will most likely see Hellbats. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see what exactly he's going to pull off. What do you think he's going to do?
I think we're going to see Hellbats in the early game from him. This is going to be one of the last chances he gets to do it, and he's probably got a build or a plan.
Okay, my money is on Reapers.
Howling Peak is the map, by the way. A pretty open map, a good map for Hellions because there's two entrances into the natural.
And we are jumping into the game right now. Let's see what Ragnarok can do against the second opponent, against Axiom Acer's Heart. Here we go. Game 2 of the GSTL preseason with Carl and Wolf. Starting to the bottom left in red, starting for the GIM with one win under his belt. This is
LGIM Ragnarok.
Yeah, he definitely rocked in the last game.
Yeah, very strong play. And maybe he can take out a second Terran player. It's all up to this guy to the top right in the blue, formerly Complexity. He is
Axiom Heart.
And even before that, TSL, in fact, same team that his opponent was on with him at one point.
He changed something, right? His entire appearance seems to be a little bit different.
Well, I think it's just that really cool jersey, I don't know.
It might be the jersey, I don't know, but he seems to be... I don't know, I can't really put it into words. I look at him and he seems to be a little bit more serious.
Yeah, I can see that, like his facial expressions. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I can't really put it into words, but something is different about this guy. Alright, so let's just find out what's going to happen here. We have Ragnarok starting things off with a hatch first, going into this hatch play. And a Heart on the other hand with the barracks. So far, normal timing here, nothing too spectacular. We don't see him with any kind of refinery play.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised in fact that he didn't take a refinery.
We have a little bit of time, so let's just echo a bit what was said about the Reaper in the past and what the problems is that Zergs are facing these days. The big problem when there are different openings with Reapers that a Terran can go for. There are very, very aggressive openings where they cut economy and go for 8 barracks, 8 gas. Just as an example, you have different timings too. But the bottom line is, the Reaper right now is so fast that even when you are on creep, the Reaper can run circles around the Zerglings and the drones. So what you have to do as a Zerg player is you have to pull your drones, you have to try to micro your Heart a little bit and make sure that the Reaper doesn't do too much. Yeah. But usually he gets at least 1 kill or maybe 2. And you have to go into either speed or roaches. These are the two choices that you have. Even with queens, it's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, queens are not really the answer by themselves because they're not just as mobile as you need them to be.
One of the big problems is not necessarily that a Reaper opening will kill you, but the problem is that a Zerg player from this point on is very, very defensive and can't break out. We had a counter example in the GSTL preseason already, but it was a little bit different because of the map.
Yeah, map specific.
It was very map specific. Zerglings run by into the main base, but there was no chance of a block. But usually you lose the map control. The Zerg loses the map control and is from this point on very, very defensive, and this opens the chances for a Terran player to follow things up with a lot of Hellions and going into the Hellbats as well, which is going to be a little bit nerfed with the change that Blizzard is now implementing. So this is a bit of the criticism that players have been expressing facing those problems.
Yeah, you basically summed up quite well. We'll see if Reapers get changed. I feel that they may not be in their final state right now, whether it happens before release or not.
I like him actually a lot more than the Reapers in the Wings of Liberty beta.
Because they have a lot more utility, I feel.
Exactly. You can use them to so many purposes. So I feel that Reapers in general is a pretty cool unit. I like it.
Yeah,
if something has to be changed, we'll find out. Maybe Zerg finds a way how to deal with this. Maybe if you go for the extra queens a little bit earlier, you can do something. It's gonna be tough. Maybe even there have to be small changes with the speed, for example. But whatever it is, Reapers, I like them a lot more than in Wings of Liberty. And I feel the unit, what Blizzard did to the unit, I'm going to be completely honest with you, when I saw the first change, it was like, oh my god, what did you guys do? And then I saw them in the game, I was like, well, actually...
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Fits really well.
It just feels appropriate that you can build Reapers, for example, on a reactor. If you ever want to use Reapers in the late game for harassment, for example, which I still am not sure if we'll ever see, but if something like that were to come to pass, you don't have to take away from Marauder production time and have to wait and use multiple barracks to produce them. So
Blizzard basically designed a new unit.
Yes, they redesigned the Reaper. It's a new Reaper.
Exactly. They had nothing to do anymore with the old Reaper. Very, very different. But we're not going to see them in this game. In this game, what Hart is going to do is he's currently looking at 2-base economy, and he's going into his starport right now. We don't have the armory just yet, so he can't go into Hellbats. Hellbat drops might still be an issue here. Hellion drops, of course, in itself are also really strong. And Hart is now doing something that I actually did not expect him to pull off. He's going into a 3-base play. And I have to say that I'm a little bit surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. I expected him to come out on this map and play a timing, because this map is so good for that. There's so many openings. I thought we would see Hellions running in from multiple locations, perhaps. But he's really surprising us. He's just doing standard plays, using the Hellions to scout. He sees the third. Now he's going to try to deny creep.
I'm in complete agreement with you. I expected a different play from him. But I like this, on the other hand. It just shows that he
can play both tunes,
Is it condescending when I say he's grown?
Yeah, I mean,
it's like I don't...
He's changed. He's matured.
Matured. Maybe.
I mean, really, he's been showing mostly one-sided play up until this point. But I mean, there was always the occasional macro game, but it wasn't his strong suit. But to see him doing this in a team league is actually showing that he's no longer the all-in player we all once knew him to be. Nice pickup here, but he does take a lot of damage. That was spotted long ago.
We have also 2 Widow Mines out now, and the Widow Mines lend itself to a good defense. It's also really interesting that Widow Mines can deal with the Mutalisks very, very well. This is one of the problems that you have when you play Mutalisk against Terran. It's a strategy that is still played by Zerg players on the ladder. You can see this in tournaments too. But the problem always is if your opponent goes into Widow Mines, you need to have an overseer with your Mutalisk group. And even then, it's very dangerous. So the Mutalisk is a lot more dangerous than it was before. It's faster, it regenerates hit points, it's even more than of a hit-and-run unit than it was.
It gives me nightmares,
in Wings of Liberty. Yeah, as a Protoss player especially, I don't want to face Mutalisks at all. In this matchup they are also strong, but with the Widow Mines, the Zerg player has to be much, much more careful than against Protoss.
Exactly. Protoss players, have that Nexus cannon they can use, but that's about it. Of course, the standard cannons and everything else, they have to go into Phoenixes, which is a matchup we'll probably see a little bit later on today, so... Especially if Ragnarok keeps getting wins.
It's one of the most exciting matchups in my opinion these days.
Yeah.
Zerg versus Protoss, there are a lot of things that happen.
Look at this, the Widow Mines come here just in time, and in fact, if he's not careful... Oh, look at this, carefully saying not 1, but 2 links in. And now he knows there are Widow Mines there. He's still a little bit cautious, though. He doesn't decide to run in, but that was very carefully done. And now he knows for sure that there are 2 Widow Mines there.
Yep. And we have the Spire, so we are going to see now a play that circles around Ling, Muta, Baneling.
Yep, this is basically standard Wings of Liberty style play against a player who's going to be doing something very different. Right now, Hart has only 3 Hellions out, so even though his armory is finishing up here, it's mostly going to be for upgrades. I don't think he's going to add too many Hellbats in just yet.
Oh, maybe later, but for now we have what I really like, the double upgrades for both players. Ragnarok could start +2/+2, doesn't yet. And we have Hart completing his own first set of upgrades. There's the +2/+2 for his opponent, for the Zerg player. And let's see how this game is going to develop here. First of all, Hart is doing his clearing the overlords on the map.
There's a Baneling run by set up at the back. This is a great choice to do on this map by Ragnarok. The problem is that Hart was prepared for it. He has a depot wall set up for just this purpose. And now not only that, he's going to see he gets one Baneling wasted. He could actually unlock the wall and send Hellions over to kill this.
We have now a transition right into the infestation pit. So far the Spire has not been used.
Do you think we'll see Swarmhouse?
There we go.
I don't feel we will in this matchup, but it's certainly possible.
I mean, I've seen Swarmhost play a lot against Terran 2. It's more common against Protoss, that's for sure, but you can use Swarmhost in this matchup as well. So there are a lot of things that you can definitely pull off. I would love to see a few Swarmhosts here.
Yeah.
But first of all, we have this Thing Meter Baneling composition. And the question is, how much damage can this actually do? Because so far, we have a few Banelings running and trying to do damage here. But I feel with 8 Mutalisks, that's not going to be the answer that Ragnarok is looking for, especially with the Widow Mines and all the defensive measures that Hart already took.
Yeah, Hart is just playing this really cautiously. He's not really leaving anything to chance. He rewalls immediately, losing no SCVs to those Banelings. That was a much better trade for him, the Banelings for the depot. Viking is finally cleaned up. He sees the Mutas, and the Baneling trap was late. It was not scanned earlier, and he loses a lot of his Marines. This is a big problem for him. Now he can't push out and clear up this creep as comfortably as he wanted to before. It looks like he's just going to get one tumor and then pull back. The Mutas are in the main, or rather the third, actually.
Yeah, and look at this positioning. They all clump up, but they're outside the range of the Widow Mine. And this is the problem that you have. If you clump up your Mutalisk and you go in the main base, you're taking a huge risk. He doesn't have an Overseer with this, so one wrong move could actually lose him his entire army. But fortunately for him, we don't have too many Widow Mines in the main base of Hart.
Yeah, they're just chilling out at the third base over there, as shown on screen just now. The Mutas are going to come back to deal with this drop, it looks like. So this gives him an opportunity to move into the main, towards the main, on the creep, and he can pick up and run away because the Mutas will be occupied with this drop. So that's a really cool tactic that we're seeing here from Hart. Just clear up the tumors at the front, keep the Mutas at the back. Really nicely done.
Here we go for this push. We don't have any Hellbats though. Not a single one, which personally surprised me a little bit. We have a lot of Terran players, Jakchi for example, using them in his army composition. And if they go for a drop here, you can use them at the front, but here come all those Banelings!
A lot of Banelings, they just roll right through those siege tanks. And you know, he doesn't really have enough here. He wants to fall back to the Widow Mines. This could be a nice position for him. If he can get these units to hit the Widow Mines, the Lings are going to get hit! Oh, not a very good hit, but the second one was good.
Yeah, the second hit was much, much better. And now Ragnarok is moving back. He's still in the lead in overall supply and also has a decent bank. On Hive Tech, he's adding immediately a few Vipers into his composition and wants to use the Blinding Clouds here.
Yeah, this is really well done by Hart going back to those Widow Mines in a bad situation. You know, we're talking about the Hellion again. He has on the map 2 Hellions, those ones that were at the depot earlier. And because there's that Transformation Servos upgrade's not in the game right now, it doesn't hurt him to actually put those Hellions in his army. It would help him against the Lings so much. I'm a little bit surprised they're not doing that. Well, here they are now. They just both died. There are way too many Lings here for this army to handle.
Yeah, Hart is in a bit of trouble here. He is definitely going to lose this army. And you know, the bigger problem is, I feel we talked a lot about what kind of makes this matchup a little bit hard for Zerg, but let's talk for a second what makes it hard for, Hart in this case, but Terran players in general in the late game. Ultralisks.
Yeah.
They are really, really strong against Terran right now.
They do flat damage, so it's a lot different than before.
They are crazy good. They kill everything. They run in and suddenly the entire ground is obliterated. The earth shakes when Ultralisks are on the map.
It's like, if it doesn't fly, the Ultralisk is going to kill it. That's how it works, basically. And another nice scan here. He has to reveal the Banelings this time.
As a Terran player in the very late game, you can go for Sky compositions to deal with this, but ground is struggling against Ultralisks, and I feel this is what we're going to see very soon. We have Ragnarok now going for 7 Ultralisks in total. He's adding all those additional upgrades. He will be on 3-3 faster than his opponent, and Hart will also have to deal with the extra armor upgrade.
We saw, by the way, during that fight, a Widow Mine burrow attempt in the middle of the Lings. If something like this actually succeeds, which is why we still have Hart continuing to produce Widow Mines right now, it can be devastating because the Widow Mine, while it's just moving on move command, is not going to get the priority, and he's now researching the upgrade for it, the Drilling Claws. It's a great thing to use. It's basically just like a Baneling to try to burrow it. And see, even the burrowed Baneling there, or rather the burrowed Widowmine, scared him away. He was a little bit uncomfortable about moving in, and that type of zoning is something that Terran players can use quite well. Now he's scared about using his Vipers because who knows, maybe they're going to get the AoE.
Here come the Ultralisks. The Ultras are on the move, and they take down quite a lot. Look at this army supply for Axiom Asa's Heart. He's retreating, and he's just now running away. He doesn't have a lot. If he has mech, then he can deal with those units a little bit better, but with Bio, it's really going to be difficult.
It certainly is. The Widowmines here are helping out a little bit, but eventually he's going to have to fight. He's stimmed way too much. Ultra's coming here now, cutting down the SCVs, and the supply now 50 ahead for Ragnarok. Looks like he is our dominant Zerg player in the Team League so far.
It is Ultra time, and those Widowmines, they only tickle those monstrosities. They're moving in, and he's reinforcing with additional ones. At this point, Hart doesn't really have an answer.
Yeah, he does not. The Ultralisks are fully upgraded. He's going to fight at a choke point here, which has never been the Ultra's strong suit, but he can remax with another unit if he wants to. And that's pretty much exactly what he's going to do here after these Ultralisks fade away. But he's still doing damage. In fact, he gets up the ramp, and now he's starting to kill these Marines.
Hart just dropped the Mule Hammer, trying to get his economy up again. More Ultralisks are roaming the map now. We have a drop at the bottom left, and now we also see a few Hellbats. Maybe they can change the course of the battle, or at least do damage to the economy of Ragnarok to even things out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to do some sort of damage. Right now, Ragnarok is taking 5th base. Nice pull there, pulls him away from the Marines so he can't be healed.
Yeah, I like moves like this quite a lot.
He doesn't even kill the medevac, in fact, afterwards.
Abduct on medivacs is one of the things that we have seen already in the Heart of the Swarm show matches at the Blizzard Cup.
Yeah. I worry that Hart needs to take a 4th, whereas his opponent is getting a 5th base now, and this is not going to allow him to turn things around. He has the command center, he just hasn't moved it yet.
Yeah. And you know, with Ultralisks now in the game, those Vipers suddenly fill a different role. Of course, you can use them for the Blinding Cloud still, but you can also use them much better for Abduct in general. Get all those siege tanks into Ultralisks. They are really what you want to deal with right now. So this is just such a nice unit. Vipers in general give so much utility to the Zerg later on. A lot of options that you have.
Yeah, this is a good position to fight against the Ultras. In Wings of Liberty, you might have been able to get better out of that, but you know, he tries to hit the economy a little bit. Hellbats are coming out. In fact, he's up to now. Did he cancel them? I guess they died earlier. He was making some, and he's not be able to use them harass now.
But what we have are 15 Widowmines now, and this is Hart's reaction to seeing what he does. Ultralisks now in the game, so he wants to play this really defensively. He's going suddenly into turtle mode. He's like, whoa, Ultralisks, I can't really deal with them at this point. I need more, I need better upgrades. I need my economy back again, I need a 4th base. So let's go into Widowmines, try to set up a good defense, and this is where they have to shine. Here come all those Ultralisks. A lot of damage already dealt by the Widowmines, but half of them are gone.
Yeah.
We have Abduct being used and also Blinding Cloud, but the Ultralisks, they're still going
still
strong.
alive. You know, he didn't quite kill any of them. Ultras just have so many hit points. Widowmines are not very good against them. It's good if you're desperate, as Hart is at this point, but the bigger issue now becomes the ramp, and he can even break up that with a good Blinding Cloud on the Siege tank. Does not hit the Marines, but the Ultras are just so much better in Heart of the Storm that you can actually just push up ramps like this.
Hart is doing a great job with his drops, already took out a base and is trying to kill the economy, but this is too much. The Ultralisks in his main base, they are destroying building after building, and with the production gone, there is no other choice for Hart but to GG.
Yeah, forced to GG, playing against some new Ultras. And Ragnarok looks good right now, looks unstoppable in fact.
Yeah.
Just solid play from him, using Vipers correctly, always with the Blinding Cloud, Baneling landmine traps, always cautious about the Widowmines. You know, we only had one mistake against the Widowmines at that one point, and it wasn't even really game-changing for him because he was so ahead before that.
You know, I'm still surprised that we don't see timings with Hellbats, Hellbat, Marine, Marauder, that we don't see Reapers. These are the things that Zerg players complain about. And I mean, it is a beta, so all the races are complaining about issues, but if you know that this is really strong against your opponent's composition in this patch, then why not utilize it? I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't do it. I think it's great that we see him go into this macro mode.
Yeah.
It was really refreshing.
It was just
I loved
a little bit surprising in general. Yeah. I mean, against a Ling, Baneling, muted composition, having just 4 Hellbats at the front of your army does so much for you.
Yeah. So he loses this game, and this puts LGIM up 2-0.
Yeah.
Ragnarok with 2 wins. And who's coming out next? This is, of course, like the biggest question that we have. Do you send out another Terran player? Are you like, okay, well, listen up. We tried it with 2 late game scenarios. It didn't work. Now we have to send out a Terran player who has to go for one of these timings that are really difficult for Zerg to hold. Or do you suddenly say, well, I don't really want to deal with this guy in this matchup. He's too strong. Yes, we didn't use aggressive strategies so far, but can we really pull this off, or just do we send in a player like Alicia who just won the IPL?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's time for Alicia. You still keep MMA for later because he's probably going to come out last, and I think Alicia is the choice here.
You only have 2 players left.
Yeah, there's only 2 left. This is a different format. The best of 7. You can already just see on only our 3 matches, now our 4th one, how much of a difference it makes going into player choices when you only have a best of 7 instead of a best of 9.
What do you think, looking at the players in general, Alicia and MMA?
It just depends on how good of shape MMA is in right now. I don't really know what he's up to, so I can't say for certain, but you know, if the past is any indicator, I think we're going to see Alicia and then MMA.
Yeah. I'm really interested for the next few games. And Ragnarok, he has been showing us a couple of really great matches. The Ultras definitely did the trick for him in the last game that he played against Hart. And we have to find out if he can repeat this, if he can actually go for a triple kill.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a former TSL player. His potential was always talked about by Coach Lee all the time. Now he's on LGIM, and it looks like his potential is even becoming more and more realized there in Heart of the Swarm. He's quite good so far.
I'm going to be quite frank with you, Wolf. I want him to lose now. I want to see more players of the LGIM.
I want to see Ruin.
I want to have more games. I don't want to... I mean, as much as I like the kid, I don't want to see Ragnarok suddenly crush Mesa.
And it looks like we are actually going to have Mia come out here, and this is not what I expected. A ZVZ, I'm thinking, well, I guess ZVZ is one way to deal with a Zerg who's getting out of control, but I didn't expect a mirror matchup just because I'm thinking about this like Heart of the Swarm style. I mean, ZVZ is not very different until the late game.
Well, what ZVZ and Heart of the Swarm is all about these days is mirrorless play. I feel we can talk about this a little bit when we go into the game. Here's the Heart of the Swarm experience. It's 1. And again, if you just tune in, if you watch the VODs, I want to point this out again because we got so many questions about it. This means this is not really a Heart of the Swarm experience. This is basically just a number that GOM has given to the coaches and told them, okay, you can judge your player's level, but you can also be a little bit funny about it. And that's what the coaches did. They just looked at it and gave their players random numbers that mean something to the players, mean something to the fans. So this is not really a measurable indicator of how good a player is in Heart of the Swarm or how much experience he had in Heart of the Swarm.
Yeah, it's kind of arbitrary, but it's really just, it has some comedic value. I don't think we're going to see it in the real season, but who knows? You know, I would actually like to have it, but...
You would?
Well, I just think it's funny. I mean, a stat like this, not this one in particular, it might be like, at the bottom it says favorite fruit. I'm like, oh, really? It turns out he really likes French fries.
That would actually be cool. I would like that.
Just something every season like that you put up there.
One of those things, one of those questions that I always find very interesting is, what are the 3 things that you take with you to your lonely island?
Yeah.
That already tells so much about
I think we need to talk to Mr. Che about this. We need to get this stat in all of the individual leagues and the team league. It's like, well, he's really good in Pross versus Zerg, but I don't know why he'd bring a tuba to the island.
I would like that a lot. Guys, let us know what you think about this idea. I think it's a great one. Give us a little bit of feedback on Twitter, at FoxyWolf, at Caldor, and if you actually like the idea, we will definitely run it past GOM. Yep. I'm completely serious about it, so things like this could spice things up a little bit. We'll definitely, if people like it, we'll suggest it, so let us know on Twitter. But before we go into this, we jump into the next match. We have our 3rd game here at the GSTL XMA up against LGIM, the GSTL preseason with Caldor Wolf.